What's up, guys? Okay, so Attack on Titan chapter 88 is out, and we learned some pretty important things in this chapter. For starters, we learned Al's backstory. If you don't know who Al is, he's actually that guy who was spying on the enemy army for Grisha and his people. Yeah, so we learned his backstory, and it's pretty similar to Grisha's. He was a kid, his family got killed by the Maryland army. He hated himself and hated them for what they did. In fact, he even compared himself to Grisha when he first met him as a kid. How Grisha was just so filled with anger and hatred towards the Maryland army after what they did to his sister and towards his family for basically not stepping up and calling him out on it. He had that same kind of anger when the Maryland army killed his family, which led him to grow up and infiltrate the army and basically try to tear them down from the inside. Only problem is he says he's full of sins and that he didn't do it right because he basically just worked for them the entire time. He gave information to the resistance, but in order to keep his cover, he basically did everything they needed him to do, which involved cutting off and sending countless of many people of his people into that whole situation of becoming a Titan or being eaten by Titans or cutting off their fingers. He spent years doing that, basically being a dog of the military, and he hated himself for it. And we also find out that he's dying. Yeah, it turns out that if you get the Titan power, you die. 13 years later, you're gonna die. You only have 13 years of life left, which is something that Eren and Armin find out this chapter, and we see them. And Armin's kind of like still trying to process the information, but Eren's like, I guess I'm gonna die. Yeah, I have to accept it. I can't do anything about it. It's Mikasa of all people, which makes sense. Mikasa is like, no, fuck that. We're gonna find a way to save you. I'm not gonna let you two die. 13 years, no. In fact, Eren actually even has even less because he got the time power way before the start of the manga. Like when he right after his mom died and he had to fled to the other wall. That's when he had the power, and that was like 5 years ago in this manga. So I think he said he had 8 years or even less left to be alive before he has to pass on the power. Oh yeah, we also find out that if you don't pass on the power to someone else, then basically any person who's a child of Ymir can get the power. It doesn't matter if they're related to you by blood or anything. It just happens to some random person. It's basically magic. They kind of not glossed over, but they kind of went over the whole history of what's true and what's not about the people of Ymir and the first person to gain the time powers. And they basically said that no one actually knows the truth of what happened. No one knows how she got the powers. No one knows what she really used the powers for. They just know that after 13 years she died. She couldn't handle the power anymore and kept getting passed on to people. And now they're where they're at. Anyway, while Grisha's listening to Al's backstory, he's like, okay, I just have one question. Why me? Why did you save me? Why am I the only one left of our entire resistance group? My wife was a royal blood. If you were going to give anyone Titan power, you should have gave it to her. She could have possibly used it. And then he starts to question whether or not she actually was royal blood, because he realizes that Al's been kind of feeding the resistance false information in order to boost their morale and keep them involved with the fight. So he's like, wait, have you been lying to us about that too? And he's like, no, your wife was a royal blood. And that's the reason why she had to go and become a Titan, because if they found out that she was royal blood, they would have fucking just sent her to away to a place where she would have been nothing but a fucking baby making factory, basically. And her turning into a Titan is fucking way better than having to deal with that kind of life, which I personally agree with. Now, I would have gave her the option, unlike this fucker, but I personally agree that her becoming a Titan and just being able to wander around aimlessly and mindlessly forever until she dies is a way better life than fucking being forced to make babies. But I can't say it. I don't know. He should have gave her the fucking option. So Al has a final mission for Grisha, and he's like, alright, so this is what I want you to do. I'm going to give you the Titan power, you're going to eat me, and then you're going to go inside the wall and fight to restore our former glory. Basically build up our people to what we used to be in order to fight back. And Grisha's like, I can't do it. I just don't have the hate inside me anymore. I'm not that kind of person. I thought I was, but I'm not. Even watching that fat bastard, that asshole who killed my sister, after watching him die, I feel nothing. I didn't feel any happiness. I wasn't glad he was dead. I was just fucking terrified the entire time listening to him scream in agony as he was being eaten alive. I'm not the guy you think I am. And this is when Al tells him, oh no, you're exactly who I thought you were. You see, I didn't choose you because I thought you were filled with hatred like I was. No. In fact, I'm not even really filled with hatred. The reason why I chose you is because you're just like me. You're full of sin. You got to where you are right now because of one sinful choice you made. And that is taking your sister outside that wall. And this is when he starts laying into Grisha, basically saying if he hadn't taken his sister outside the wall, his sister would have been alive, she'd probably be an adult now, married, he would have inherited his father's clinic, he would have lived a long, happy life, he never would have met his wife, Dinah, he never would have had Zeke, they would have never gotten captured and turned into fucking the Titans. The Resistance Army probably would still be going on, because without Zeke and Grisha, they were still in the shadows. You know, no one blew the whistle on them before that, so they probably still be around. Basically, everything is Grisha's fault, and because of that, he has to take on the mission. And Grisha's just like sitting there saying, "No, I can't do it." Then the guy pulls out a picture of Grisha's family, you know, his wife and his son. And this is when Grisha, for some reason, gets the inspiration. He's like, "All right, you know what? I have to do this." So he stands up, he takes the power, and then we see a whole sequence of him going into the wall. He meets up with a member of the Survey Corps, and they take him into the wall. I guess we don't see past that. But the last part of important information we find out in this chapter is that each one of the 9 important Titans that, you know, actually have a power have a name, and the name of the Titan that Grisha takes on and the Titan that Eren currently has inside of him, or the power that he has, is called the Attack Titan. Really? The fucking Attack Titan. They couldn't come up with an actual name for it. Like, he was talking all this shit about sins. Like, sins was like a heavy part of this chapter, and you couldn't say something, and you couldn't just make them like something involving sins or come up with some kind of name like that. It had to be Attack Titan. Like, I know the fucking series is called Attack on Titan, but really, we didn't need you to just like throw that in dialogue. Fucking just watching the series, reading it, we already had Attack on Titan. The whole thing is about Titans attacking. The whole thing's about using Titan powers to attack. We didn't need you to fucking whatever. I'm not even gonna fucking rant about it. It's just a fucking dumb name and the story. But other than that, it was a pretty good chapter. We didn't really do anything to move along the plot. All we did was get more information about this whole thing, which I guess was important information. Actually, yeah, it was important information, but I kind of wish it would have drove the plot along more. I kind of wish I would like to see how this information really affects the future or the current timeline. Besides the fact that Eren and Armin now know that they only have 13 years left to live, or Eren, I mean, only has like 8 years left to live. So I don't know. I wish it would affect the timeline more. Maybe we'll see that next chapter. But yeah, and that's about it. So that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, drop me a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to grow my channel right now, so if you're willing to, you know, subscribe and help me out, share the video, do whatever you can to help, I would greatly appreciate it. Comment down below what your thoughts on the chapter were, and I'll catch you guys later.